Have you ever eaten anything that was clearly marked as poison? What happened? And why aren't you dead? I inhaled a sewing needle when I was about 2 years old, received a collapsed lung and had to have chest surgery and a tracheotomy. In my defense, it was not clearly marked as poison. I work at Poison Control. All these calls are just the average days. Thanks for keeping me employed, everybody. I had a chemistry kit when I was about 10, and I stupidly decided to eat one of the chemicals. I don't remember what, but it was a blue powder. Fortunately I didn't eat enough to kill me, but I puked for the next few hours. Did teach me that they were, in fact, serious about the poison warnings. I wanna guess you ate copper sulfate, but I might be wrong. A family friend, when she was little, drank Drano. 30-some years later she needed to have surgery because the scar tissue in her esophagus made it almost impossible for her to eat. She had had so many surgeries before that she has a high tolerance to most painkillers. I am so terrified of the idea of drinking Drano. I know it's irrational, but even as an adult I'm afraid to buy it in the off chance that I might somehow accidentally drink it. When I was a baby, I drank the soapy juice, as my brother called it, dish soap. My mom called Poison Control, and they told her to make me drink a lot of water, and that I would be throwing up a lot. I also burped bubbles. Oh, alfalfa. I sprayed my face with spider poison. I didn't know it was people poison too. I was 10 years old when my older friends took me on a camping trip in their backyard. LOL. His dad got us all military MREs, which was cool. You're supposed to add water and lean them up against a tree for them to heat up. When they were all finished and we started to eat, I thought it tasted like crap. Crumbly, chalky stuff. I feigned enjoyment until someone realized I was eating the heating element. When I was a kid some batteries exploded in a toy I hadn't used in ages. So there was this strange liquidy stuff around the batteries and all in the battery compartment. Yup, I licked it all up. Still no idea what the heck it was. I ate that blue powdered Miracle Grow fertilizer stuff when I was young. I mean, it's bright blue. I thought it was candy. I drank half a gallon of Listerine one time when I was 15 to try to get drunk. I was sloppy drunk, half dead for close to 10 hours. Freshest breath ever. My father drank a pint of DDT when he was younger. He was in a coma within 5 minutes and had to get his stomach pumped. Make sure he heeds extra caution while laying eggs, as they will likely be significantly more fragile now. Found Gatorade in the fridge, drank some, turned the bottle around and there's a huge skull and crossbones mark on the back. I freaked out, but it turns out that my dad was getting a colonoscopy and it had copious amounts of laxatives. 3/10 would not drink yellow Gatorade again. The barium solution they gave me before an MRI, I swear it was just pine sol with a bendy straw. That stuff is supposed to be a white chalky goop that shouldn't look like a green clear liquid. My dad tastes, and sometimes swallows, antifreeze to see if it is contaminated. Not me but a friend of mine. He was drunk at a party and walked into the kitchen to take some shots. He saw a boot glass, like the one from Beerfest, on the counter with some clear liquid in it. So he took the contents like a shot from the bottom of the glass. Turns out it was bleach. I stayed with him for the rest of the night. He vomited uncontrollably for 2 hours. He was shaking and his face was bright red. We force-fed him water and another friend called 911 to ask what to do. We got him through it, but he honestly wanted to die. It burned so badly. I used to eat lead paint chips as a child. I'm totally fine. Yeah, no brain damage at all. I ate silica gel and didn't die. Get in line, ladies. Can dudes get in line also? I am bored. I swallowed a AA battery as a kid. Don't recall ever pooping it out. I guess it never discharged. Sunglasses. I used to eat mothballs when I was about 7 or 8. Well, I got caught around that time. Mother wasn't pleased. I drank a huge glass of bleach. My stomach was messed up and swollen for days. I still have horrible stomach issues. When I was 3 I drank bleach at my mother's house. Had to get my stomach pumped. My grandmother told me when I was in my 20s she is pretty sure it wasn't an accident. My mom really hated my dad after the divorce. When I was little I walked into our pantry and found this bag of sweets. They were really bright and colorful and were in a pretty bag. Naturally, I ripped that crap open and threw a few of them into my mouth without thinking. They turned out to be anti-moth tablets. What the actual frick? Why would they make them look so much like candy? Moths hate candy. In chemistry class, I drank a Coke that had been mixed with pure nicotine. Ended up getting my stomach pumped. Don't drink chemicals. When I was younger, my parents used to run a TCBY, frozen yogurt place. I used to go with my mom to work sometimes, and this day she was stopping at a post place to drop something off. Can't really remember why. Well, I was probably about 6 and I saw this huge vat of what looked like sugar, so I opened the lid, stuck my hand inside and started eating. After about 3 handfuls I realized the taste was disgusting. It was a cleaner for the frozen yogurt machines in white crystal form. I went in and told my mother, who freaked and called poison control. I had to drink a ton of milk and I honestly can remember how bad felt for the rest of the day. I accidentally drank Pine Sol when I was a teenager. It was sitting on the table near my soda. I was talking and not paying attention and drank the wrong one. I spat it on the carpet and freaked out a bit. I was fine though. When my mom was little, she accidentally drank gasoline. My grandfather was storing some in glass Coke bottles. She took a swig and started screaming. My grandmother called the doctor, who instructed her to feed my mother bread soaked in milk. She lived, or else I wouldn't be here. I had a friend eat a bunch of catnip and then read that it was poisonous. He was put on hold for 10 minutes with poison control. They told him he might end up with a headache and to monitor his results. That's cause catnip isn't poisonous to humans, but is frequently used in tea as a sleep aid. I've eaten those do not eat packets you get in shoes bags that absorb moisture when I was about 4. My older brother told me it was sugar and that I should eat it. Ended up in hospital with a drip in me to rehydrate. I was fine other than that though. I also had a lot of ear infections when I was little, and because of this, panel and liquid antibiotics could be found around my house. I managed to guzzle down both the Pamel and antibiotics on different occasions. Only once did I have to get my stomach pumped though. I'm pretty much the reason why kiddie locks were created after that. No idea why they would do anything other than send you home. Those packets are not toxic. They are marked because small children could choke on them. Source: I happen to be a toxicologist. Thought a bag of laundry detergent was salt, so I dipped my finger in the bag and licked it. Now, whenever a laundry detergent smells good, I say it's delicious. I ate a squid tentacle soaked in formaldehyde. Was in biology in like the 9th grade. There was no reason to do so at the time, but now I believe I'm immortal. Any number of research chemicals, i.e. psychoactives not covered by existing drug laws. To circumvent the law, they have to be marked as poisons, or at the very least unsafe for human consumption. The reason I haven't died is research and a handy mg accurate scale. I spent years in Australia building up an immunity to arcane powder. It came in handy once in a battle of wits against a Sicilian. Inconceivable. Most daily medicines are most likely poisons for the body. That being said, as a chemist, buying sodium chloride aka table salt from a chemical distributor is marked as not for human consumption. I've used it a few times on some of my food for lunch. I'm still standing. I use iodine when I purify my water in the backcountry. I always chuckle when I see the skull and crossbones. It's not enough to kill you though, like 2 or 3 drops per liter depending on how manky the water is. I used to eat lotion, lubriderm, because it is sweet. I don't know if it is poisonous or not, but I bet it's not recommended. In 1962 I was 2 years old. We had just moved into a 2-bedroom rental. My mother was painting and cleaning and chasing me around the house trying to keep me out of trouble. My father was working and drinking. In all honesty, he was working at drinking, which is about all he ever did. To keep me occupied, my mother gave me a cup with a lid filled with orange juice. I happily toddled around exploring my new surroundings. In a corner of the yard I found an old jar with a lid on it. I took the jar and the lid and returned to the porch. Some small part of my mind must have remembered watching my father mix drinks because I managed to remove the lid from the jar and the lid from my cup. I mixed the contents and replaced the lid of the cup. Of course, after mixing my first drink I had to try it, which is where the trouble began. I had chosen to mix my OJ with ant poison. What did I know? I was only 2. My guardian angel must have been paying extra special attention that day. Just as I slurped down the last of my cocktail, my mother came to check on me and realized what I had done. She grabbed me and ran for the car, a convertible Cadillac. She left me there and ran in the house for her purse and keys. What she failed to realize was that the keys were in the ignition. While she frantically searched the house for them, I was busy playing with my new rattle. Looking out the window, she saw me with the keys and came running for the car. Just as I threw the keys in the ivy, she desperately crawled through the ivy searching for them, but they were gone. So she grabbed me from the car and began running down the street in the general direction of the hospital. I cannot imagine what she was feeling by this point, but I am sure that I had scared the crap out of her. My guardian angel must have still had his or her hand on me, because she had barely run for a block when 2 teenagers pulled up in a late 50s souped up hot rod and asked her if she needed help. She explained the situation and they made it to the hospital in record time. There my stomach was pumped and I spent 2 days in ICU before I was sent home. Somehow though I managed to survive without any permanent damage. That is if you don't count baby teeth as permanent. About a year later I went to the dentist for the first time. Every single tooth has at least 1 cavity, some 2 or 3. The dentist theorized that the arsenic in the ant poison had eaten away all of the enamel on my teeth, leaving them unprotected. I drank some window cleaner once too. Nothing bad happened. I just can't take my clothes off and run around in public anymore, as it prevents streaking. Yeah, cigarettes. When I was 8 or so, I licked my dog after she had had flea poison applied to her. My sense of taste was fricked for years. If you see this image while scrolling, you have been visited by the fat beagle of Cozy's comfy beds, and good rests will come to you, but only if you post Stay Plump MR Beagle. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.